A supernatural twilight smothers Jerusalem as a bruised purple-gray sky hangs over Golgotha. On the central cross, the body of Jesus hangs lifeless, his head slumped to his chest. The jeering crowds have fallen silent, replaced by a fearful, murmuring stillness. At the foot of the cross, Mary Magdalene, Mary the mother of Jesus, and the Apostle John are racked with silent sobs. A low rumble begins, a vibration felt deep in the bones, a tremor not of this world. At that very moment, inside the magnificent temple, priests going about their duties stop, their eyes darting nervously as the rumble intensifies. Before them hangs the immense curtain of the temple, woven with blue, purple, and scarlet thread, and embroidered with golden cherubim. It is the veil separating the holy place from the Holy of Holies, the earthly dwelling place of God's presence. With a sound like the sky tearing, an unseen force rips the curtain from the very top. The thick fabric splits in two, parting as if it were paper, cascading down to expose the forbidden, empty darkness within. The priests cry out in terror and fall to their faces. Back at Golgotha, the rumble escalates into a violent earthquake. The ground heaves. People stumble and fall as panic erupts. Cracks spiderweb across the rocky hill, and a nearby stone tomb groans as it splits open, its heavy door falling away. Longinus, the Roman centurion in charge, a man hardened by years of brutal service, is thrown to his knees. His professional cynicism shatters as he stares at the unnatural darkness, feels the earth itself convulsing, and fixes his gaze upon the serene, still face of the man on the middle cross. Awe and terror mix on his face. He scrambles to his feet, his voice cutting through the chaos. Truly, truly this was the Son of God, he cries out. His men stare, their own fear amplified by their commander's shocking confession. As late afternoon settles, the earthquake subsides, leaving a grim quiet over the hill. The Sabbath is approaching. To hasten death, Roman soldiers move to the other crosses, breaking the legs of the two thieves with the sickening crunch of heavy mallets. When they approach Jesus, they see he is already gone. One scoffs, demanding, "They make sure, for the governor wants no surprises." Longinus, still shaken, steps forward. He takes a soldier's spear. This is not an act of cruelty, but of final confirmation. With a practiced firm motion, he thrusts the spearhead into Jesus' side. When he withdraws it, a sudden, distinct stream of blood and water flows from the wound. The Apostle John watches, his eyes wide, searing the profoundly symbolic image into his memory. That evening, a weary and agitated Pontius Pilate paces in his private court. A visitor is announced, Joseph of Arimathea, a wealthy and respected member of the Sanhedrin. His face is etched with grief and a quiet urgency. He has come to ask a boon permission to take down the body of Jesus for burial before the Sabbath begins. Pilate is suspicious. A member of the council that condemned the man now wishes to honor him. He knows Joseph risks much by this association, but Joseph insists that Jesus was a righteous man who deserved a proper burial. Pilate hesitates, then summons the centurion from the execution. When Longinus arrives, Pilate asks him directly if the Galilean is dead. "Yes, Governor," the centurion confirms without hesitation. "I confirmed it myself. He is dead." Sighing, finished with the affair, Pilate grants the request. The body is his. At dusk, in a tranquil garden near Golgotha, Joseph arrives at his own new tomb, carved from a wall of solid rock. He is met by Nicodemus, another secret disciple from the Sanhedrin, who has brought an enormous quantity of myrrh and aloes, a king's portion of spices. Together, the two men work with reverent tenderness. They gently lower Jesus' body from the cross, clean the wounds, and carefully wrap the body in a clean linen shroud, layering the fragrant, bitter spices within the folds. Their movements are a silent act of love, They carry the wrapped body into the cool, dark tomb and lay it on the stone slab within. With a shared, heavy sigh, they exit and, with the help of servants, roll a massive, circular stone into a carved groove, sealing the entrance. The sound is final, a deep, resonant thud of stone against stone. From a distance, hidden amongst the olive trees, Mary Magdalene and the other Mary watch, noting the location, vowing to return after the Sabbath. Later that night, Pilate is disturbed again. Caiaphas and several other chief priests burst in, their faces alight with anxiety. Governor Caiaphas exclaims, "We have remembered that deceiver said, while he was still alive, 'After 3 days I will rise again.' Therefore, command that the tomb be made secure until the 3rd day. Otherwise, his disciples may come and steal him away, and tell the people he has risen from the dead, and the last deception will be worse than the first." Pilate stares at them with utter contempt, finished being their tool. "You have a guard of soldiers," he waves them away. "Go your way. Make it as secure as you know how." By torchlight, a small detachment of Roman guards stands before the sealed tomb. A soldier melts wax, pressing an official Roman seal onto the crack between the great stone and the rock face. They take up their positions, spears at the ready, their armor glinting in the flickering light. The tomb is silent, sealed, and under the unblinking watch of the Roman Empire. All hope appears to be buried and locked away in the darkness. The air hung heavy and still, thick with the scent of night-blooming jasmine and the unsettling chill that often precedes dawn. Inside the sealed tomb, the silence was absolute, a profound stillness that seemed to defy the very concept of sound. Yet, within that deep, unyielding darkness, something stirred as the first faint slivers of pre-dawn light painted the eastern sky. A subtle tremor rippled through the earth. The Roman guards felt an unease prickle their skin, exchanging nervous glances as the air grew heavy, charged with an inexplicable energy. Suddenly, the silent sentinel of the tomb began to glow, not with artificial light, but with an inner luminescence that intensified rapidly. The ancient stone seemed to become translucent, revealing a blinding light within. The ground beneath the guard's feet shook more violently, a deep roar emanating from the earth. The massive stone sealing the entrance groaned under an immense, unseen force. Then, with a deafening crack, the Roman seal shattered, shards of wax exploding outwards. The enormous circular stone, weighing tons, was hurled backwards with unimaginable force, crashing against olive trees like thunder. A blinding flash erupted from the now open tomb, momentarily incinerating the darkness. The Roman guards, hardened by countless battles, were utterly undone. They collapsed, not from a physical blow, but from the overwhelming power emanating from the tomb. Some whimpered in terror, others lay prostrate, their minds unable to process the divine majesty unfolding. Before them, from the open tomb, a figure emerged. He moved with a serenity that defied the seismic upheaval, his presence radiating a light that was both intensely brilliant and profoundly peaceful. This was not the broken body they had seen. This was a form imbued with unearthly vitality, scars on his hands and feet, glowing like jewels, symbols of triumph. His eyes, once closed in death, now held the light of eternity. He stepped out onto the dewy grass, the light around him softening the harsh edges of dawn. The earth, which had trembled with his emergence, settled into a gentle calm. The air, once heavy, now hummed with a joyful, almost musical vibration. The grave clothes lay undisturbed within the tomb, perfectly folded, a testament to his orderly departure. There was no desperate struggle. He had simply walked out, the God of the universe, demonstrating that death was no match for his boundless life. Jesus stood bathed in the nascent light, no longer a prisoner of the grave, but its conqueror. The fear gripping the soldiers dissipated, replaced by profound awe. They had been sent to guard a dead man. Instead, they had witnessed a revelation. The silence that followed his emergence was not the silence of death, but the vibrant quiet of a world reborn. Birds sang clear, joyous, melodies echoing a celestial symphony. The olive trees shimmered with newfound vibrancy. The tomb, once a symbol of despair, now stood open, empty, a monumental declaration that death had lost its sting. The Roman Empire, with all its might, was powerless to hold the God of the universe. The stone, meant to imprison, became a launching pad for eternal life. All hope, once seemingly buried, burst forth into an incandescent dawn, proclaiming that Jesus was not merely alive, but eternally triumphant. The last deception, the fear of death, was shattered by the first truth of resurrection. The Lord lives, and in him all things are made new.